Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Happy Labor Day weekend. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I'm just setting this up because I'm going to go live on the TikTok platform too, so that the people on TikTok can hear me as well. All right. Now, hope you're all doing well. If you race this weekend, hopefully you came up to you went off to a good start. Hopefully everybody came back healthy, right? And hopefully you're setting yourself up for a strong season as well on both platforms here. Now, with that said, Multi Kenny, man, right out the gate in the comments, and we're going to go over some speed workouts today to help you in cross country. Okay, so good, Multi Kenny, good. Yeah, and if you have folks who struggle towards the end of the races, and this is not an anomaly. This is a normal thing, right? You can add a longer rep towards the end of a workout, or make the workout progressively faster, or do a slight tempo, and then add something that's more intense on the back end of the tempo to simulate the second half of the race being hard, like it usually is, right? When you simulate it more often in a workout, then it's going to set you up for success in races itself. So, and again, I'm going to get right into this, okay? We're going to talk about speed, injecting speed workouts right into cross country races. This is high school and college. Okay, high school and college, and Multi Kenny too. I mean, right now you got about a minute 40 spread from 1 to 5. If you could get that number one into the 15s and cut your spread down to a minute over the course of the season, then you'll have 15s, and then your number 5 will probably be in the 16s. So that's a at that point you'll be like an NXN type team. So this is something to keep in mind. This is a slow build and a slow progression. Brandon Ferguson, what's going on? Tempo and threshold training. So, and again, if you have any questions on TikTok, you can ask as well. We're on both platforms right now. Tempo training is built to 20 to 25 minutes, right? At the right pace. Do them mostly on the flats. Okay. How do you check the right pace? Make sure you test yourself at a mile. Test your athletes at a mile to see where everybody's at, right? It'll give you a good idea of where everybody's fitness is. That way you can lock into the right training paces. This is a good way of closing the gap in a cross country race from 1 to 5, especially getting the people in the back to get close to the people in the front, right? So that's tempo, continuous, and you can even add some basic speed on the back end of it. You can add some 150s or 200s to stimulate utilizing your turnover when you need to at the end of a race. Same thing here. It simulates a race, right, the tempo, and then kicking at the end of it. That's one way to do it. Or you can do a bookend tempo too, which is a more simulated for cross country. You do a 300-meter hard, right? Let's just say 3K pace. You rest a minute. Then you do your tempo. Rest a minute. Then you do another 300 hard. Simulates what? Going out hard, like Grace is doing cross country, settling in, finishing hard. Okay, the difference being here in cross country, you're going from this wide path to this narrow path. That's why people go out like a bat out of hell in cross country most of the times, right? To settle into position. And in cross country, positioning is important, right? There are no time qualifiers in cross country. Qualifying standards, there are place qualifying. You have to place at a certain race to qualify for the next bigger one, and so on and so forth. So, and in threshold training, 800-meter repeats, 1,000-meter repeats, 1,200-meter repeats, with 1 minute recovery, and it's 8 to 10 seconds per mile faster than your tempo run pace. Okay, I have videos on this channel, on my YouTube channel. Okay, broken down paces from 8 minutes all the way down to 4 minutes. So if you have questions about the paces, don't hesitate to ask. You take a look at the videos. I'm sure you get a lot of questions answered, and you can always come back here and ask more questions as well. Got a question here at the start of every tempo. I sprint first 200, and it ends up feeling exactly like it. Well, yeah, you could do that too. And this is one of the things that I do, the bookend cross country things. So I start at 300 because generally most cross country races go up harder, longer than 100, right? It's usually about 300 meters or 400 meters. People settle in at some point, right? And then, so I do what I do a minute rest for the first time you do it. The next time you do it a couple weeks later, cut the minute rest to 45 seconds on both ends. And the next time you do it, cut the rest to 30 seconds on both ends. And if you can get to the point where you can do it with no rest, that's going to simulate exactly what a race is going to be like. You work your way towards no rest, right? And if you can do that, it's really, 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 really good. Okay, what's your tempo pace for? Take a look at So take a look at my videos. I've got it all broken down based on what you run for the mile. Okay, it's all broken down there. I helped you get from 21 minutes to 17:50. You're welcome, Brand. Look at that. That's real life progression there. Have somebody has gone from 21 minutes to the 5K to the 17s. Thank you, Brandon. Great work. Great work. Now, with that said, let's get right into these workouts. That way we're not waiting all day for them, right? This is going to be more applicable to high school here, boys and girls, and even some college women who run 5K and sometimes 6K. 6K. You do your warm up, you do your drills and strides as always, right? And you can even do a tempo piece in the beginning. But here you see, you'll do a tempo, the first rep, the first workout. And you do a mile or 2K at tempo pace, 1 rep after you warm up and drills and strides. That elevates your heart rate. Then you take a 5-minute recovery. And then you do 2 sets of 6 by 300 with a 100-meter jog after each rep, 4 minutes in between the sets, and you get to run those at 3K pace. Okay, this is a perfect workout for the high school girls, even the college women. Okay, not every workout needs to be long, but if you want to tack on volume, that's the whole point of having the tempo in the beginning of the workout, right? Shoe rotation. Alternate your shoes every day. If you have 2 pairs of shoes, if you have the resource to get 2 pairs of shoes, alternate them every single day. Okay, workout 2. Warm up drills and strides. 2 sets of 6 by 400. Okay, but now you do, let's just say the high school boys, you do a tempo rep, a 2K to 1.5 miles. Okay, to start the workout, elevate your heart rate. Take a 5-minute recovery, and 2 sets of 6 by 400. 100-meter jog, 400 meters in between the set, and you're running these at 3K pace. This acts as speed development. Okay, for 5K racing. This is going to help your 5K and cross country, even your 6K. And TikTok, folks, tap that screen if you don't mind. Let's get the hearts up. And everybody in YouTube, let's hit the like buttons. I appreciate it. I really greatly appreciate it. Just shows that you find what we're doing here helpful. Okay, and that's the end of the game today. I just want to help as many people as I possibly can. Now, workout 3. Okay, warm up drills and strides. You do a little bit longer tempo since the reps are shorter and faster. You do a 1.5 to 2 mile tempo. Take a 6-minute recovery. Okay, and then it's 2 sets of 8 by 200. You take a 30, and this is one here too. Okay, the first set you're going to take 30 seconds recovery after each rep. You're going to run them at 3K pace. Then you rest 5 minutes in between the sets. The second set you're going to take 60 seconds in between a rep, but you're going to run mile pace. So the second set is significantly faster than the first set. But since the reps are only 200, okay, it's going to serve as excellent speed development for cross country racing. So these workouts right here, these 3 workouts will be really, really, really beneficial. Injecting them. And these are good workouts to do. I'd say, I'm going to take this off the screen. I'd say 10 days out from a cross country race. So let's say you race next Saturday, right? This is a good workout to do the week before on a Tuesday. 10 or 11 days out. That way the workout is in the legs, because it takes about 10 or 11 days for a good workout to be in the legs for the next bout or the next test. So that's when I would do it, the week prior, midweek workout. Okay, and these would be good workouts to help you in a cross country race, particularly in a 5K. Okay, got another question on YouTube here. You're welcome, Brandon. You're welcome. You're welcome. And great, yeah, really great work, Brandon. That's fantastic work. That's fantastic work. And if you even on TikTok too, TikTok folks, come over to YouTube and get it, because everything's in writing on YouTube. Okay, the link to my channel is right in the profile here. How do I calculate long run pace based on what you run for the mile? I have everything broken down. But generally, long runs to me are either easy pace over rolling hills or progression in nature from easy to steady over mostly flats. It's all based on what you run for the mile. Okay, you can do everything. 1845 in a 6K opener. You in 1845? It's not. You're in low 25-minute shape. 1845. That's 922. That's pretty much 5-minute pace over 6K. You're in low 25-minute pace, I think. You're only adding 2 kilometers. Yeah. If you need advice offline, here's my. I'm putting my email address in the on screen here for you. on YouTube. For those that TikTok need advice, want my email address, come on over to the YouTube and watch it, and you'll see that my email on the screen right here. Okay, there it is. That's my email address. But well done in the 6K. Well done. You keep tapping that screen, everybody on TikTok. It's greatly appreciated. And tell your friends, tell your teammates, and the fellow runners and coaches on YouTube that we do this every single weekend. Email me. Awesome. Okay, man. Here he is. Yeah, email me. Email me, my man. Weekly cycle setup like in cross country for mid distance and distance. Easy run is a good question too. And I have this broken down on my YouTube channel here too. If you're racing, okay, you're welcome. Easy run Monday. Always start the week off right. Tuesday workout. I'm going to give you a non-race week first. Easy run Monday, Tuesday workout, semi-long run at an easy pace on Wednesday, steady run at a steady pace, a little bit shorter run, then semi-long run at a steady pace on Thursday, workout 2 on Friday, long run Saturday, and either an easy day or an off day on Sunday, depending on what year of school you're in. Race week, easy on Monday. Easy on Monday is always good on race week, especially if you take off the Sunday, the day before. Going from a day off into a workout, your legs could be out of whack a little bit. I like to have you run. I always like to have you run the day before workout or the day before race. Keep your legs in rhythm. Okay, so easy run Monday, workout Tuesday, semi-long run Wednesday, easy pace. Add a little bit of speed there. Okay, or since you're on race week, and actually on non-race week, you can add some speed on Wednesdays after the semi-long run. On Thursdays, on a race week, you can add a little bit of speed after your steady run. So you can do a workout Tuesday on race week, semi-long run Wednesday, steady run Thursday with a couple 150s or 200s, something like that, just to keep the legs moving on Thursday. Friday, easy, short day. Saturday, race. And you can even add some mileage to your cool down to kind of simulate some type of long run. And then you can do an easy run on Sunday or an off day, depending, like I said, depending on what year of school you're in. Okay. And you get most of the training workouts and easy runs in Korea's hot and humid. Run in the morning if you have the opportunity to. The morning is the best time to run in the hot weather because the sun will have been down for the longest period of time. Okay? You won't have the sun beating on you in either way. Coming from the bottom, and the ground will be the coolest as well in the morning before the sun rises. Best time to do it. And heat. In the summer, you don't really have many great options, but if you run in the evening, the sun will have been hitting the ground all day. It's going to be much hotter running in the evening when the sun's down, and much cooler in the morning when the sun's down. So the morning is the best option. That's a great way to start your day too. You're at 40 miles currently, and your season starts next week. How should you build up? What have you done? How many weeks have you done at that mileage? Have you done anything up to this point? I'm on a 530 mile. How do you break that down to a long? Take a look at my video. Cans. I've got videos on training paces based on what you run for the miles. For your easy runs, your steady runs, your progression runs, tempo, threshold, 3K pace, 3K pace, 5K pace, 800 meter pace, 400 meter pace, and everything based on what you run for the mile. And why do I do that? Because if you're closer to the 3K and 5K than you are the 400 and 800, that's a sign you got to work on speed development. If you're closer to the 4 and the 8 than you are the 3K and 5K, that's a sign to work on your endurance, tempo runs, thresholds. What you run in the mile can tell you a lot about where you need to go in your training. This is why I give so much intel on here and on TikTok as well. So keep tapping that screen, TikTok. Appreciate you. But these are good questions. Now let's get back to the workouts themselves. We got another pack of slides here. Now this is more related to college. Okay, let me get this off the screen. There we go. Okay. Now, high school or college, but some college. Collegiate women, 6K, collegiate men, 8K. You do your warm-up, your drills and strides. Now you can do a 2K to a 1.5 mile tempo. And then you take a 6-minute recovery. And the workout is 7 times 600 with a 2-minute recovery, progressing from 5K pace down to 3K pace. This is a great race-specific, event-specific speed development workout for 8K in college. It really is a wonderful workout. Okay, and this is this for women. This is perfect as well. We're running 6K, so this is a perfect workout for women. Now for men, you could also do 1.5 to 2 mile tempo, 6-minute recovery, 7 times an 800 with a 2-minute recovery, 5K pace down to 3K pace. So if you can get to the point where you can do that, you can even progress from the 6s to the 8s as well. Okay, but not every workout needs to be 5 miles or 6 miles worth of volume. This is a good workout of speed development nature for cross-country racing. If you're running 5K, 6K, 8K, 10K. Okay. Now, last one, 2 kilometers to a 2-mile tempo, 6-minute recovery, and then 3 sets of 4x400. Okay. 3 sets. But this is how it goes. The first set, you take 45 seconds recovery after the rep, you run them at 5K pace. Then you take a 4-minute recovery after the last rep. The second set, you take 60-second recovery in between the rep and you run them at 3K pace. 4 minutes in between the rep and in between the sets. The last set, you take 75 seconds recovery after each rep and you run them at mile pace. Okay. Now you can even go, if you need to, 60 seconds at 5K pace, 75 seconds at 3K pace, 90 seconds at mile pace, and progress to this if you need to. It's up to you to decide as a coach or an athlete what you feel is most appropriate for yourself or for your athletes, right? So this is 3 sets of 4x400. Some folks will get to 3 sets of 5 with the same mode here, but each set gets a little bit faster, and this sets you up nicely for cross country. Even track, if you're running 5Ks on the track, sets you up nicely. But these are the workouts that really give you rhythm work, okay, for cross country races. Okay, and again, you never know what cross country races are going to be flat, or they're going to be rolling hills. You just don't know. But these are the types of workouts that also set you up nicely for if you're running in races where you have middle distance runners around you who are still there at the latter part of a race where you know they have a lot of leg speed. These are the types of workouts that can help you create distance, gaps between yourself and the middle distance runners. Or if you're a middle distance runner, help you stay within distance room, right? Now, how often should you be doing easy runs in a week? And how many days are reserved for speed workouts? On a non-race week, I do 2 workouts. In a race week, I do 1 workout and some light speed on the second day, with the race being the other workout. So twice per week, no matter what the volume is a good number of hard days to have in a week. So does that make sense? Anybody have any questions on YouTube or on TikTok? And keep tapping the screen, TikTok. Okay, let's get those likes up. You guys are asking good questions. But Brandon, yeah, I mean, if you're in Korea, it's best time to train in the morning. So, heart rate and training or paces. If you're locking at the right paces and you sleep enough, then you have a good chance of being in the right pace ranges. But keep in mind too, in the heat and humidity, your heart rate's probably going to be elevated, which is why I always encourage folks train at the best time of the day to train is in the morning. If you're in the heat, right? You try to put yourself in a position to suck least, have training cell run suck the least in hot weather. So I like the fact that you're in Korea, man. I've got black belts in 2 different Korean martial arts. Yep. How do you increase the quality of miles you're doing? This is a good question too on TikTok. You let time trials test yourself. Once your pace is okay, once you have a time trial or race that tells you whether you're ready to start increasing paces, then you increase paces. But you don't generally increase paces in training runs or workouts until a time trial or race tells you or dictates that for you. Let it be gradual. Let the training catch up to you. Then let a performance dictate whether you're ready to step the level up in your training. Because at some point, if you're running 8-minute miles, right now it's easy runs. As you get fitter, 7:30 is going to feel like 8 minutes at some point. 7 minutes is going to feel like 7:30 at some point. So by default, if you're consistent, the paces are going to gradually get faster. And if you incorporate speed development rolling hills, long runs, and all that type of stuff, you're putting yourself in a position to progress effectively and gradually, if that makes sense. Is 5 days off to let a minor overuse injury heal too much or too little? While you cross training DMV during that, or you're doing nothing? That's the question. What are you doing in the off days if it's an overuse injury? What are you doing to stay fit? Because the cardiovascular is the thing you want to continue to train. So if it's an overuse for running, which I get, it happens. If you have access to a pool or a bike or something like that, just to keep the heart rate moving every single day and keep the cardiovascular trained, it makes it easy to transition back to running. It makes it easy to transition back and start easy and then increase over time. The last thing you want to do is just take a bunch of days off and jump right into workouts because then you can get hurt again. No. Using a bike, okay. Cross training, good. Yeah, gauge it, okay? Gauge it and see how it feels. But always ease yourself back in if you're coming off an overuse injury. And strengthen areas around what's being overused to protect it, to build strength. This cross country endurance or speed? Endurance or speed? I do both. And that's good for middle distance and distance runners. Mid-distance runners need speed. Middle distance runners need strength. Right? The stronger you are, the easier it is to tap into your speed. I want the athletes that I work with to outkick people in front of the pack, not outkick people in the back of the pack. Right? And that's the key. How do you outkick the people towards the front? You get fitter. You get faster over time. It's a gradual progression, right? If you do it the right way, you continue to move the needle forward for yourself and your team. Right? Is 50 this year? Last year you did 40. That's a good progression. I would not go past 50. You go from 40 to 50. I wouldn't go beyond 50. Now it's time to maximize what you do within the 50. Would you recommend for volume workout at maybe 7 to 7:30 pace? A running shoe. My best recommendation. I used to work in a running specialty store in New York, and it's all by competitive runners. Go to a running specialty store and have them outfit you in the right shoe, because you might need stability, you might need cushion, you might need motion control. It really depends on your cadence, your posture. If you get an opportunity to get fitted at a running specialty store, do it. There's no one size fits all. There's no magic shoe for everybody. That's one of the things I had to learn the hard way in college. Training shoes. So that's the best recommendation I can give you there in terms of running shoes. Tips for college kids moving up from 5K to 8K, 10K. That's a good question too. So if you're a college freshman, one of the first things that it's kind of a layer of adaptations as a college freshman. You're getting used to faster runs, faster paces, okay? Longer workouts at faster paces. You're probably going to be training with faster people. So just around you, you're going to be training. Your training is going to be elevated at some point. But that's another reason why you don't race as much in college. So you can get used to those things, right? Because the races are longer, they take longer to recover from. So if I could recommend anything in college, would be just to let yourself get adapted to these things. Okay, that if you can run if you can match what you did as a high school senior on a track as a college freshman, you're in a good spot. If you can improve on that, you're in a really good spot. Okay, let the adaptation happen. If you can average the same pace for 5K on over 8K in college as a freshman, you're in a good spot. Okay, that's one of the things I would recommend. There's a lot of adaptations that take place as a college freshman. Just train your first 5K 17:22. Yeah, be consistent, tempos, thresholds. That's a nice start to the season. Just be consistent with your training. You run 10:50. Generally, it's 10.5, so about 5:40 pace for 5K. Think about whatever you run. If you run 5:20 per mile in the 2 mile, and you're going to try to run 10 to 15 seconds slower per mile over 5K. So looking around 5:30 or 5:35 or 5:20. If you're on 10:50, that's 5:25. So you're looking around 5:35 to 5:40 per mile over 5K. And then you work from there. You try to get it down. And then you want to try to average 5:25 per mile over 5K, but you'll get your 2 mile down as well. That makes sense? Any other questions, YouTube? Any other questions, TikTok? Wrap this up in a second. And again, for those that TikTok didn't see, come and watch the replay on YouTube. Everything is in writing. It's on screen in YouTube. That's why I encourage folks, anybody in TikTok who's not subscribed to the YouTube channel, the link is right in the profile. Make sure you subscribe. And the same thing with runners and coaches here on the YouTube itself. If you enjoy the content enough to subscribe, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. And anybody you think that would find this channel helpful, please recommend the channel to them. It's greatly appreciated. Like I said, I want to help as many people as possible. You have a race at 9:30 and a short drive to see the race. Time should you wake up? If you have a race at 9:30, I would not eat past 7:30. And I would make it easily digestible carbohydrates. That's going to be a good source of energy for a race in the morning. Easily digestible carbs. You can put protein in your body afterward for muscle repair and recovery, but not before. 2:16 in the 8. What do you need to break 2:05? I need the consistency. Get yourself under 5 minutes for the mile if you haven't done that yet. But 2:16 should be right around sub 5 minutes. Speed endurance 200s. That's a staple workout I talk about a lot on the YouTube channel. 8 to 10 by 200 with a 90-second recovery. Just lock in. So if you want to run 2:05, you want to try to run these in, right? 30, get to the point where you run them in 31, 32, and then 30 to 31. You get down to 30, 31 for 8 to 10 reps with a 90-second recovery. That'll help your 800. It'll also help your 400 too. If you cut the rest down to a minute over time, that's even better. All right, sounds good. I'll check your email out. Lifting heavy or light. Lifting moderate weights, moderate to high reps. Make it as functional and specific to running as possible. Like lunges with med ball twists, squats with shoulder presses, right? Lunges with arm curls, things where you can involve multiple body parts at once. You don't really need to lift heavy, Olympic, like super heavy Olympic lifts or running. Anything that's going to compromise your range of motion and your ability to lift your knees and your hips and be able to accelerate, you want to avoid. That doesn't mean you can't lift and get strong. Just make it functional, specific to the running. That's why I encourage folks to do the same thing with stretching. Make it specific to the running. Okay. I got you out. What email did you send it to there? Put the email on the comments. You want to make sure you send it to the right place. What you can do to help with your teammates that are running 21 and 23 minutes, get faster, possibly break 20. For 5K, get them used to running 1,000-meter repeats in 4 minutes. 5 times 1,000, 3-minute recovery, 4 minutes per K. And then you cut that recovery down from 3 minutes to 2:30. And then you cut that recovery down from 2:30 to 2 minutes when you think they're ready. 4 minutes that's the number for 20 minutes. You can get to that point, and if they're at 23, they'll drop chunks off that. They'll drop chunks off 21 as well. But 4 minutes is the magic number for 1K. And you can even do 800-meter reps at the same pace. Okay, and then progress towards the thousands. And you can even start 3 times a K and then go to 4 and then go to 5. Gradually build the volume and the length of the rep. Easily digestible carbs. Something your body can tolerate, even if it's a banana or a bagel with butter or something like that, and jelly, toasted. Something that's not going to sit in your stomach very long. Something you can get out of you if you need to. That's going to serve well and act as fuel for a race. Lifting with, like I said, moderate weight with moderate to high reps is ideal for running. How could you avoid falling asleep in a race when I'm running solo? Running solo ahead or running solo behind? Excuse me. Bad allergies. Again, excuse me. Try to think of it as rhythm. If it's a course solo ahead, well, number one, that's a good thing. Think about where you are in the race. What do I need to get to this point? If you're familiar with the course, think of, okay, how quickly can I get to this next milestone? And then how quickly can I get it to the next milestone? Break it up into pieces. And you can even add some visualization in there. Think about if people are around, and what if somebody's there at this next point? How strong do I want to be into this point? Anything that's going to help you mentally lock in the race is a good thing. But if you're ahead, that's good. That's good. And just think about it. If I'm 30 seconds ahead, I want to go to 35 seconds. What do I need to do? Obviously, you want to be more. You continue to be efficient with your stride, but you want to open up your stride to just a tiny bit, right? 11:30. Take a look at my channel. Take a look at my videos. I've got it all broken down. Equivalents for 3K and 5K and 2 mile and mile. I've got it all written down. 11:39. That's 550 pace per 1500. So a little over 6 minutes per mile. So whatever your average per mile is for the 3K, try to add 10 seconds to 15 seconds per mile for the 5K. And then you try to close that gap. That makes sense? Speed development across country. Yeah, speed development's got to be an all year thing, no matter what. It's got to be an all year thing. That's why I talk about these types of workouts. That's why I talk about that's why I incorporate hill sprinting, right? Short hills, 50 meters on a steep uphill. You attack those, right? After a run, after a tempo run. Speed development is critical. And speed development on the flats and on the uphill is critical, whether you're training cross country or track, right? Yeah, so I mean, if depending on what you did over the summer, and this is where I start speed development in midsummer, so it kind of helps you transition into cross country workouts. This is why, like, it's one reason I do on a race week. You do the workout Tuesday, and then after a run on Thursday, I'll do some, let's just say, some 200s at 4 times a 200 mile pace, or 5 times 150 at mile pace, or whatever. Speed development. If you do this every single week, right, then you're going to have 10 or 12 weeks of speed development in your legs leading to championship season. It's going to make a huge difference. Okay. And on a non-race week, you can do speed on Wednesday after your semi-long run. Whether it's just 50-meter strides, 50-meter uphills one week, 50 meters flats the next time, right? Consistently adding some type of speed session once per week in cross country and in track compounds each season. Okay. And you'd be shocked at how much speed development will come in handy. And it can be in the most basic forms. It doesn't have to be balls to the wall 400s. That's not speed development. That's race. That's like race pace. That's anaerobic work. That's a little bit different than speed development. You want on those 16s, which your paces for workout. 5:10 pace, I would say. Let's finish at 5 here. This finishing at 5K pace for a mile at the end of the long ones help a lot. Finishing at 5K pace for a mile. Oh, okay. Up tempo at the end of a long run. It can help, but it depends on when you do it and how often you do it. It's some of the things that are important here is not only what you do, but it's when you do it in training. If you cycle it out, this is why I coach this. This is why I take notes copiously, right? I can write down, say, look at, okay, because it gives you an opportunity to go back and look at the training and say, when did my athletes run their best races? Okay, what type of training did we do in that stretch? You can say, okay, this is what we did to lead to the best races. This is what I want to build off of, right? And then you can eyeball something and say, all right, this worked, right? Now, but don't assume it's going to work for everybody. This is why I take notes for training for everybody. Right? You can see what worked for the girls might not work for the boys, and vice versa. You know what I mean? How do I differ speed development for 800 and cross country? Speed development 200s is a good 800 specific speed development component during cross country, which translates well into the track. And for 800-meter runners, I inject at least an 800 type session every other week, even during cross country, like speed development 200s, like 8 to 10 times 200 at let's just say 800-meter pace with a 90-second recovery. You're looking to run 2 minutes, let's just say. You can run 8 to 10 times 200 at 29:30, right, with a 90-second recovery, or build towards 90 seconds, start at 2 minutes and work your way down 90. You do that once every other week in cross country, you'd be shocked at how well it'll translate over to the track. Thursday off race week, you do 3 times 200, replicating beginning, middle, and the race. Yeah, that's something. Okay, that's something you can do too. What is your heart rate? Shoot up 160 on easy runs, even when I start slow. Or are you doing easy runs over rolling hills? Is it hot out? Have you slept a lot enough? A lot of things can factor in. Are you recovered from the previous workout? Right. So a lot of people, and so when I talk about training at the right paces for workouts, makes it easy to not only progress during the workouts, but it makes it also easier to recover afterward. Right. And if you're going to the well every single time in a workout, if you're a 450 miler trying to run with 420 people, you're not going to recover the way they are if you're hanging with them workouts. Just keep that in mind. Okay, I know people want to get to the front. I get it. I love the ambition, but let's not do it at the expense of your health. Okay, let's be smart about it. That makes sense. So, but there could be some factors in why the heart rate is elevated. But naturally, if you're running over rolling hills, your heart rate's going to be elevated. It's going to be elevated. So, any other questions, gang? Before I wrap it up, these are really good questions on YouTube and TikTok right now. Really good questions. And JT, take a look at. I've got videos on the channel that talk about 400, 800 folks for fall, whether they're running cross country or not. Specific workouts, specific designs, specific training layouts for them. Because more often than not, some 400, 800 people might run cross country in high school, but they're not going to run cross country in college. So how do you differentiate between the two? And what type of training do you need to do to get them ready for track without compromising their fitness in the fall, right? And again, I'll say this a lot too. Fall is best utilized when you're building off of what you did over the summer instead of making up for what you did not do over the summer, right? Blood lactate. I mean, do you do blood lactate stuff? You do blood lactate stuff for what? Are you doing high school or college, JT? What's the difference between tempo runs and threshold pace? 8 to 10 seconds per mile. Threshold reps are 8 to 10 seconds per mile faster. Let's just say you're running a tempo run at 5:30 per mile, arbitrarily, for 20 minutes. Your threshold reps should be a 5:20 pace. 800 to 240, 1,000 meter reps at 320, 1,200 meter reps, 4 minutes. 1 minute recoveries, repeat. 8 to 10 seconds faster per mile than your tempo run. That's the easiest way to put it. There's no need to complicate it any further than that. JT, who are you training? That makes, and what's the logic behind blood lactate training? In 1820 was your first ever. Can you get sub 17? If with good training, you could probably get to it. If you're consistent with your training, yes. If you do the right things in your training, yes. With college and some pros, I use it for tolerance and middle distance and monitoring zones. Well, this is one reason so I'm glad you brought this up too, because this is why training at the right pace range is so important too. Blood lactate can give you an elevated version of what They can tolerate what pace ranges you can do. Can you cut tempos around 10 or threshold reps? Can you do 400s at threshold pace with a short recovery, right? And so on and so forth. Um, for those that don't like to be pricked in the ear and your fingers and so on and so forth, I would recommend using accurate pace training reads. And this is one of the things that I did on the channel, broke it down. This is one reason I also incorporated 800 and 400 equivalents or capabilities based on what you run for the mile and 3K and 5K. So it gives you the short end of this type of stuff too. What are capabilities? And if you're training in the right pace ranges, at the very least, you're going to come very, very close to blood lactate training. If you're not into, I know nobody's pricking me, my finger on my ears, man. But that's just me. I know other people do it. I know Ritzenheim does it. I know they used to do it at Adams State. I know they do it at Villanova. I know they do. I've seen them do it. But zones, yeah, I mean, it's applicable in some case, in a lot of cases, JT. It is. If it works for you, don't keep doing it. Keep doing it. I like to stay. I mean, I like that's one reason I do the pace training zones for folks that don't like to do blood lactate work. But it does have its place. It definitely has its place. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But good. You doing it for half milers and milers, or you doing it for more distance type folks with your college and some pros? How to calculate tempo based on what you run for a mile. I have it all broken down on the YouTube channel. I've got it broken down from 8 minutes all the way down to 4 minutes. What your tempo pace ranges should look like based on what you run for the mile, and what your threshold pace is, your easy runs, your progression runs, your steady runs. It's all broken down for you in specific pace ranges and everything on this channel in writing. You'll see it. Reach out to me, JT. Email me. Send me an email, and then let's correspond. Or send me, or if you have access to Coach is my TikTok. I have a running platform on there as well. Here, all right. This is those that don't know. This is my TikTok profile here, access to Coach. And for folks that are on TikTok now, and you're not, I don't know, my YouTube channel, Top of the Line Running is my YouTube channel. Cross training helps as either a complement to your training if you feel like yourself or your athletes can't handle additional volume, and more volume isn't always better. More is not always better. So cross training could be a good complement to your training. It's also an effective way of coming back from an injury if you do it in a way that continues to trigger the aerobic foundation. But JT, man, let's connect, man. And again, this is my email if you didn't see it. This is my email address. I'm going to put it back on the screen here. And I respond to my emails all the time. This is my personal email address right there. It's a good 5K time for a freshman in high school. Boy or girl. I mean, if you can get into the 17s as a boy and get into the 19s as a girl, to me, it's a good starting point. I like to build off that. But you'll get some people running faster than that. But whatever you run if you're new to running, I don't really put too much weight into a cross country performance as a freshman. You're still growing, right? You're still going through puberty. You're still getting used to the training, which you haven't done before. So there's a long-term adaptation that's going to need to take place, and you'll see yourself progress. As long as you're consistent in high school, you'll see yourself progress and make big jumps if you do it the right way. 52 in the 400, but only 5 what? 16:51 in the 5K, You run 52 in the 400, and you're likely close to 2 minutes in 800. So if you're not, I would do speed endurance 200s to help your 800, and then if you're clearly strong enough. So I would add a tempo run if you haven't done that yet. You can even mix and match. You can do, let's just say, 10 minutes of tempo, and then you can do some speed and some endurance 200s at the end of the tempo. Touch base with the speed endurance work after your tempo when your heart rate's already elevated, when you're already fatigued, right? These simulates a lot of the things that you're going to be experiencing in races. And if you could do that in training, then it's going to make it a lot easier on race day for you. Oh, my apologies there. Did I miss any? Okay, yeah, this is my. There you go. This is my accurate email. If I missed the A, my apologies there. Rule of thumb: if you try to run in 3 months, if it takes 3 months to get back, is the rule of thumb. I couldn't run for 3 months. If you couldn't run for 3 months, did you do anything during those 3 months? Is the question. What you did in those 3 months can help determine what you need to do in the next 3 months after that. If you run an easy pace of an athlete, slower, recommended paces based on a mile trial will be addressed. It's you. You go. It's just something you work towards. It's just something you work towards over time. Let speed development. That's why I incorporate a well-balanced training program, because sometimes speed development is going to help you become more efficient in your stride. It's going to help you get better in your training paces. So again, and it's also training at the right volume too. A lot of folks, a lot of folks that will ask me like, "Well, I'm a freshman. I'm going 30. I need to get to 60 right now." You don't need to go from 30 to 60. Why would you skip 40 and 50? Let everything be a gradual progression, right? And make sure that you're maximizing where the volume is at now first. Biggest pet peeve in running? Oof, that's a good question. Um, hmm. Mm, skipping out on cooldowns. I'd say one of them. Skipping out on cooldowns. Mm, there's a lot of fixable things in running. That's why I think the right environment needs to be there. And I think it's important to communicate with the athletes so they have a thorough understanding of not only the expectations, but what if they want to get better, what they need to do to help them get better, right? So if I had to incorporate any pet peeve, it would be skipping out on cool downs and skipping out on little things. Um, I don't have many pet peeves. At the end of the day, if you don't do the work, you're the one that's going to have to answer to it, not me. Right? So I tell athletes, don't complain if you're not running fast, if you're not doing the work that's going to help you run fast. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to wrap this up, gang. I want to thank you all for joining me. All right. Well, go enjoy your holiday weekend. Happy Labor Day. Thank you to all that served. If anybody that served, thank you. Okay. And hope you had a good first race. If you haven't raced yet, hope you're getting ready for your first race. So, but cross country is here, baby. Remember, it's the only season where the weather gets colder throughout the season. So, how you warm up before races is important. The sequence in which you will warm up is important, right? Just think about it. If you do a warm up jog and you're stretching outside and you do a static stretch in the cold, and then you're gonna try to fire yourself up, are you staying warm that way? And is your warm up routine on workout day different than it is on race day? And if so, why? That's a good question to ask coaches. Good question to ask athletes. I push coaches and athletes. So I want coaches to have a thorough understanding of what's going on too. Miles, good morning. And I learn from athletes and coaches all the time. There's no all-knowing person. There's no one-size-fits-all thing that works for everybody. It does not exist. Individualization needs to take place. Everybody's got different strengths and weaknesses, right? So, but go have a great weekend, game. Okay, what are my thoughts on coaches putting one-size-fits-all training programs on athletes? It's going to stop working at some point. If everybody does the same thing, right? Let's just say the workout's 5 times 1K, whatever, right? And everybody has the same. Everybody starts at the same point. Everybody's recovery is going to be different, right? And you'll have people hanging on for dear life. You'll have people doing certain things. There's individualized. If you do the same thing for everybody and have 10 different people, you're very likely going to have 10 different results. So that's my thoughts on that. Individualization has to take place at some point in the training because everybody's going to have different things they need to work on. What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. And why assume that it will? It's not a gamble. This is your running. I want to put you in a position to run your best races when it counts the most and do it consistently and keep you healthy. All those things matter. They all matter. And you should know that they matter. Okay? So go have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great season. Talk to you next time.